So Ripple have recently announced they're going to be launching a stablecoin, both on the XRPL and over there on the Ethereum mainnet as well. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I think that is going to affect the XRPL in general in terms of participation, and also maybe number go up. And I'm also going to touch on what I think is going on in the wider economy towards the end of the video. So let me know if you guys enjoy that in the comments, and I'm just going to get into it right now. So let's start with my tweet from yesterday. Here comes the narrative: a stable coin on the XRPL, multiplied by the AMM, as we know as the automated market maker, which basically is going to allow DeFi onto the XRPL. In some ways, it provides liquidity pools, but we'll get into that later. The lawsuit potentially wrapping up and 7 years of accumulation in terms of price action. Is it time for XRP? Could this be the catalyst? So let's get into Ripple's release yesterday, and then we'll break down what I think about that after. So as you can see, Ripple said the stablecoin market is booming, around 150 billion today, and projected to soar past 2.8 trillion by 2028. There's a clear demand for trust, stability, and utility. That's why later this year we're launching a stablecoin pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar on the XRP ledger and on Ethereum. This move extends Ripple's reach into both institutional and DeFi realms, diversifying use cases and enhancing our payments infrastructure to bring the world of traditional finance and decentralized finance closer together. Ripple's stablecoin will be 100% backed by the US dollar deposits, US government bonds, and cash equivalents. Ripple pledges transparency with monthly third-party assertions ensuring trust and reliability. Stablecoins serve as a pivotal entry point to DeFi, and introducing trusted enterprise-grade stablecoin to the XRP ledger will generate more use cases, liquidity, and opportunity for developers and users alike. Simultaneously, we know the future of crypto is multi-chain. Launching this stablecoin on both the XRPL and Ethereum opens doors to cross-chain interoperability. Ripple's stablecoin isn't just about innovation, it's about contributing to the XRPL ecosystem and setting the stage for a more robust and diverse crypto landscape. They then published their official article there over on ripple.com that you can go and check out if you like. And I tweeted this morning basically saying what I think about it. Online we saw a bit of a mixed response. Some people a little bit upset, like taking it the wrong way in terms of mainly emotion, like it's sentiment in the market when the price of something isn't up and then news comes out, it's automatically negatively reflected. There's a big echo chamber of negative criticism in the XRP community at the minute. Things in crypto are reflexive. If the price is low, things are negative, it means the price stays low. When the price starts to get higher, news comes in that brings positivity and the price goes higher again. That's the reflexivity of crypto. People who hold XRP at the minute are like, oh, like, why are they bringing a stable coin? Does that mean they're not going to need my XRP anymore? No, that's not the case. In my opinion anyway, like I obviously don't know for sure. They're also like, oh, why are they introducing it onto the Ethereum network as well? Again, I think these are both positives, and I'm going to talk about why. So I want to get some of my thoughts out there. You guys know that I cover XRP a lot, but I'm also not a maximalist. I always say what I think and I try and stay honest. Remember, I do have a bias because I do hold XRP, but that I hold XRP because I believe in XRP, and I like Ripple as well as a company, but I believe in XRP and the XRPL as well. We can get into why in another video, but let's keep going with the stablecoin from Ripple and the AMM. So I think the Ripple stablecoin will be massively bullish for XRP and the XRPL as a whole. It promotes interoperability. So Joel Katz, who is David Schwartz, yesterday had an AMA and talked about auto bridging between ETH and the XRPL. This will give instant access basically for all the devs on the XRPL on the Ethereum mainnet to be able to access the XRPL. We know that there's a correlation between the amount of devs on a network and in turn price action, whether it's like a direct correlation or just a lagging correlation. If you have devs or developers building on a network, they can build things for people to use, and then at some point people will start to use them. The devs create the product, and then the demand for the product increases. Again, it's reflexive. The more devs, the more products that are built. The more products that are built, the more people that come. The more people that come, the more devs that come to build more products. So we need devs. That's literally it. If we can bridge over to the ETH mainnet, we can use some devs that they use. Fantastic. The next little point that I talked about was there was a little tweet actually yesterday from Barissimo_ on Twitter, which said the XRPL stablecoin is a big game changer, a great foundation for the institutional DeFi ecosystem. And Barissimo is the head of DeFi over there at Ripple. So you've got to put some weight on what he says. How much, I don't know, but it's very interesting interesting comment to say the XRPL, suggesting that the XRPL could be the home for DeFi for institutions. So let's see what happens there. So I just spoke about that obviously in my thread. And I also wanted to say that it gives us a way to on and off ramp into and out of XRP without leaving the XRPL ecosystem. So use that however you might. Anyone who thinks this isn't bullish is blinded by emotion and lack of number go up instantly and emotional from like what's happened over the years. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that will help number go up, but people are still complaining. Interestingly, the stablecoin will be backed by US dollars and US treasuries and cash equivalent. This would be good for recognition of the company being Ripple by the US government. Obviously at the minute there's a bit of a conflict between like Ripple and the SEC, but if Ripple start buying treasuries straight off the Fed and the treasury when they need some liquidity, they're going to be held in much higher esteem by the US government in general. This is one of the reasons in my opinion that Tether haven't gone under. Like I definitely think there's some dodgy dealings with Tether at the start, but because they're such a big US debt holder, I don't think the US will get rid of them, at least not until someone comes to fill those shoes, Ripple. Let's see if that happens. But because of that, and obviously that you earn yield from treasuries, i.e. you get a percentage for holding the treasury, it might lead to some native yield via staking from a stablecoin that Ripple might introduce. So you might be able to stake your stablecoin on the XRP ledger and earn some percentage of interest. That would make sense, but it's not obviously confirmed. So finally, what do I think is happening in the markets at the minute and where do I think the world's going? Did write a long thread about this over there on X, and I just want to quickly talk about it. So gold is obviously breaking out at the minute. I said it's piece of shift right. It is quite a long thread, but we'll try and surmise it for you here, guys. Basically, gold has broken out of a multi-decade resistance. What does this mean? Well, basically, people in the past have bought gold when they are uncertain of what's going on, whether it's financial uncertainty, geopolitical, or other. So this is the gold chart. As you can see, we've literally never been over 2,000 and closed above it, or not much above it, and now we're at 2,200, so a big 10% breakout as of when this was written. Logically, when we look at the world, gold right now is not a bad play. We see geopolitical tensions at the highest levels in my lifetime, and the financial system overextended by many metrics, broken by 2008 and exacerbated by C19. Most recently, technically yesterday, we saw the BTFP, which is the Bank Term Funding Program, that was introduced in 2003. This initiative introduced essentially liquidity for banks in exchange for treasury after seeing multiple regional banks go bankrupt in quick succession due to a cocktail of issues, including but not limited to lack of liquidity, a sharp raise in interest rates, and instant communication or access withdrawal by panicked depositors. This was obviously referring to the Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank collapses in 2023. I feel there'll be a rotation to gold in the short term for boomer safety as they realize that this liquidity has now been taken away. All these strains are still there for the banks. After this rotation, I think the next step will be into Bitcoin, as when the solution basically comes out for the problem of the retail banks, I think that people will move away from the store of value into something that appreciates percentage-wise like the most of any asset in history. As soon as we see that the money printers are basically going to go on from the Fed, we should see, in my opinion, a rotation to Bitcoin. This is a comparison of Bitcoin to gold. Obviously, gold stays pretty stable and Bitcoin massively outperforms when there are areas of liquidity or when it starts to move into its hype cycle. In periods where liquidity has started to uptick, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset in the world, or cryptocurrency in general, and I don't expect this time to be any different. We've got the halvening in a few weeks. When Bitcoin has broken through its all-time high, we've really seen everything start to rip and roar. If we look actually specifically at Bitcoin during times of like national crisis, like the banking failure there, or C19, we actually see that although there is an initial reaction and people get a bit scared to start with, then we see a big rally from Bitcoin and crypto itself. So looking at the left here, we see C19, a big dip and then a rally. In 406 days, we go 1,100% or 11x. And in the banking crisis, in 385 days, we do 234% or 2.3x. These problems aren't focused solely on the USA. There are also issues in China as well and other countries all around the world. So the money printers, in my opinion, into the election year are going to go on all at the same time. One thing to take into consideration is that when this money starts to come out and when we start to see the fixing of these issues by printing money, that is when we're going to see a parabolic rise for crypto in general. Remember, markets are forward looking though, so they may start to price this in before the solutions happen. That's why having exposure spot to crypto right now is probably not a bad idea. One thing to keep in mind though is when these periods happened in the past, the Bitcoin dominance dropped and actually altcoins outperformed Bitcoin by about 2 to 3x, putting in 3,700% move in the same period as Bitcoin, breaking its all-time high in 2017. So Bitcoin went about 1,000% in that time period, altcoins 3,700. Now I'm just going to finish on this. So basically, my thoughts are hold at spot, probably hold alts, and don't panic. Whatever happens in the meantime, DCA if you get the opportunity to buy more. We're in a bull market. In bull markets, buy the dip, basically. So my finishing point on the thread was, with that being said, I've got our bags packed. I'm not really trading volatile shops right now. In fact, I'm making a meme coin with a couple of friends. Our first attempt, we took a meme coin to 2.5 million with no experience. Be fucking careful out there. Like, if I can do that, other people can do much more sinister things than I. Sometimes buying spot and chilling is the best thing to do. Right now, more than ever, don't get caught in the hype and don't fuck this up, as Raoul Pal would say. This is a once in a human civilization opportunity. The last time we had the creation of a new asset class was in the 1600s, and that was the introduction of equities. This is the introduction of a new asset class, but also a new monetary system, in my opinion, that probably will engulf everything if we're right. And as the years go on, it looks more and more like we are right on that. We've been given the chance to make generational wealth, so just don't fade it. Don't do anything too clever. Don't blow yourself up. Stay in the game and just ride it out. Don't believe the hype on Twitter. If someone goes from McDonald's to a Lambo, then great for them, but you just do you and make sure you come out on top by not doing anything too extravagant, I think is probably the word. If you enjoyed the video, please give this a like, sub, share it to a friend, and tune in to our weekly newsletter, The Weekly Insight, over there on Substack, or follow me on X at Cryptoinsightuk if you don't already. Thanks for listening, guys. Peace up. A-Town down.